Good morning. It is Saturday. I have been up for a while. If I'm gonna be honest, I fell asleep early last night. I don't know what it is now. Like I go, and then when I get tired, like boom, I'm asleep. I don't think it's narcolepsy. I think it's just a certain intensity with which things get approached. Let's talk about today. I am feeling remarkably cheery and good and optimistic. I'm gonna stop by the wood store and get supplies for my advanced kids. Hopefully I'll do that very quickly, and then I will go to the barn. Well, I think our lesson is at 11. If you're wondering about my lovely wife, I've said nothing more since I sent the text saying, thanks for this. It was literally just a screenshot of the email from her lawyer where she threatens to take the dog. It is a threat. It literally says, if Ken pursues, I mean, they put in adjectives, but like, if Ken pursues aggressive legal action, she will take the dog. That's a threat. If you do this, I'm going to do that. It's an if-then statement, isn't it? And I worked on this with the therapist a little yesterday. I feel tricked signing the quitclaim, and she was framing it differently. She was like, I think you signed it because you're ready to move on, ready to be done with her. And I agree. I am those things. But the minute I did that, this letter came out saying basically that, being really terrible. And my point was basically, before I signed the quitclaim, we're opponents at this point, which is a shame, but she wants this thing, the quitclaim signed, and whether or not she gets it is up to me and when I sign it. And I have the mediator, and I have her telling me, this is something done in good faith, this is something people do. You can't hold the quitclaim hostage. You can't not do this just because of divorce. And it sort of eats at you because, I'm not a bad person. I'm not a hostage taker. I'm not trying to be terrible in this process. So ultimately, I signed the thing. So, I gave her the thing she wanted. And immediately after, there's a new thing she wants. The dog and the money and all, the divorce stuff. And I have this sense of, I would have been better off if I didn't sign the first thing. Because then she would more visibly just want that. And I truly believe right now that she wants everything she can get, and that she's probably always been planning on taking the dog. I hope I'm wrong. And I hope in a few weeks I can be back on here being like, I'm so embarrassed. I was wrong about this. She's way less bad than I thought she was. But I feel like so far, my cynicism hasn't been unfounded, and that is so super unfortunate. Because I'm not a negative person. I'm not cynical. I really want to believe in the goodness that was that relationship. I think the best plan probably is for me to just have all my stuff moved out by the time she comes to move her stuff out, so that she can walk into, no, all right. So many thoughts at once, and I'm sorry, we're talking through this process. I don't come to these videos with a scripted thing, I'm going to say this. Here's the thing, and here's what I'm wrestling with. I don't want her boyfriend in my home. It makes me feel sick. It makes me feel terrible. He is the symbol of the breakup of the relationship. Whether or not, what percentage of responsibility he has, I don't know. But to me, he's disrupted my family, he's disrupted my marriage, he's disrupted my life. Him coming back to the barn has disrupted my happiness in the barn. He is symbolic of disruption in my life. I have these two thoughts. One, I don't want him in my home. And then two, if he's gonna be in my home, I wanna be there. Because while I'm not allowed to speak to him at the barn for fear of getting kicked out, there is nothing to say I can't talk to him when he's in my home. So why not be there? I don't have to treat that situation with courtesy or decency. I mean, he's a home wrecker, right? And then he's literally coming in my home to wreck it, to physically dismantle it. Please, somebody make a case for why that's okay. Do I just have to be an adult and be like, it's just what happens? She should hire movers, is what she should do. But him setting foot in my house to take apart the life that she and I created bothers me. So then this is what I was thinking through. On the one hand, I should just have all my stuff moved out. So when they walk in, it's only her stuff. It's just her stuff to take out. And he doesn't have the power to take apart my life because I've already done it. And I feel like that's the mature thing to do. That's how it should be done appropriately. But then the other part of me wants the house to look like it did when we lived there. So he has to have the experience, and her, of tangibly removing things from the house, pulling the life apart. Put the wedding photos back up so that she has to walk around with those on the wall. Just a little slice of what I experienced living there. My stuff there and her stuff there. Just a reminder of there was a life here. that you willingly disrupted, that you knew about, that you were okay with getting with a married woman, living with a married woman, seeing her husband regularly. All of those things were okay to you. And I don't know which way to go. Trying to be mature about it. There should be no pleasure in, I'm not trying to cause pain, right? But I don't mind causing discomfort. It's been a really uncomfortable 6 months. And I'm trying to imagine the aftermath. When you lash out and say something cruel to somebody, does it make you feel better? The adrenaline hit or the dopamine hit or whatever it is of the initial saying, that's appealing and addictive, but it doesn't solve anything. It doesn't make you as a person feel better. You don't come away from it being like, good, I did that. And that's what I'm wrestling with. Would doing these things make me feel better? Would it help me heal? Would me getting my stuff out and just not caring, but I would care, I know I would care, would that be better than defending myself? I mean, here's things I know. She's not ever going to come back. We're not ever going to be friends. It's not ever going to be good. She's threatening to take the dog. The last thing that she could really do to screw me. It's not good. She's not good. So what does it matter if I'm classy? It matters to me in terms of being proud of myself and who I am. And I know she's not winning, but I still feel like she's winning. I still do. She gets to come in on her schedule and take stuff out of the house. And she has it planned so it'll be while I'm at work. So she's still controlling the situation. $1,167.99 is what I just spent on wood. Granted, I got some really pretty wood and I got wood for projects going forward, so it wasn't just for like this immediate week, but that kind of freaks you out to spend $1,167.99. I don't mind it. I get reimbursed. It'll be fine. It's just, it leaves you with that breathless feeling of like, God, I just spent a whole lot of money. I was thinking about getting more of the Arlo cameras to put up in my condo so that when she and her boyfriend come in, I can watch them. And even saying it out loud makes me sound crazy, but I'm still processing how to deal with the discomfort of him coming into my home. I thought about mounting a GoPro. I thought about just being there. I'm clearly wrestling with the control of this situation and feeling out of control. That feels like my refrain lately. I don't want to cause anybody any pain, but I really don't mind causing discomfort because they shouldn't feel comfortable in this situation. This is a bad thing that they've done. Fingers crossed that he's not at the barn, but if he is, it doesn't matter. He doesn't matter. My heart will race a little bit, but less than before. He just remains dead to me in person because it's the barn and I get the rules, I understand. In my home, that's a different story. I just like sharing with you the drama and the trauma of driving down the driveway and seeing if Assface is here. His groom is here, which gives me hope that he is not. Maybe they're going up to close on the barn that they're buying. Who knows? And honestly, who cares? Now that I've seen it on Redfin and Google Maps, great, good. Live out in the sticks. Good people are here. Bad people don't seem to be. Happy day. I'm gonna go see what's going on. Well, hi. I just had brunch with again, and it was great. Got avocado toast, and we talked, like, we just relate to each other. It's nice. We get along very, very well. I don't know if there's chemistry. I can't tell if she likes me at all. I mean, she thinks I'm very nice. She said that. We talked about Greg, we talked about common interests. We talked a little bit about travel. She talked more than she asked questions, which, that's fine. I can weather that, but I'll see if that changes. Going back to the barn now to see if my barn friends will be speaking to me and want to go get frozen yogurt. They were very not happy when I said, hey, you guys, I may need to duck out for a minute to go out for lunch. It was awkward, and I felt bad because I did tell them, like, oh, we'll go for frozen yogurt. And then this opportunity came up, and if somebody puts it out there, like, hey, we should go get brunch, you do that. I'm an adult, and she's an adult, and I like her. They were not happy, and they definitely got very frosty. We'll see if I can be forgiven. I have this, like, sinking feeling that the nature of the relationship has changed. We'll see if they will accept my friendship. But that was fun. I like hanging out with her. It's nice to go out with somebody and sit at a table and order and talk and go through the ritual of bringing water, ordering drinks, having drinks come, ordering food, having food come, eating, paying. Like, it's a really nice ritual. I haven't gone out to eat a whole lot lately, so I enjoy it. We went out the other night and she invited me out again today. So for whatever it's worth, I'm gonna take that as a win. Let's go see if these people want to talk to me still. I'm really curious. Hi, buddy. Andalusians. Is that what you are? You an Andalusian? Okay. Probably should have left earlier, but it's just been a weird day. I got to the barn and my barn friends iced me out. Like, nothing to do with me. They were sitting at a picnic table. I went and I sat down and they literally got up and left. They walked away. And it was just like, oh man. They wouldn't talk to me. They walked around and when they left, they said goodbye to everyone at the barn but me. It was so perfectly orchestrated. It was as I thought it would be, and objectively it was kind of funny, like, oh yeah, that's how people treat each other when they've been slighted. And on one level, it did hurt just a little. It's like, you guys, come on, like, you know me, but I get it. They felt slighted, so they were like, you're out. But on some level, I thought maybe they would understand. They know I'm in pain. They've seen my wife and her boyfriend at the barn when I was there. Like, they know the story. Maybe they just don't have the empathy or the life experience to be like, you know, to totally get it. I stand by my decision. While they were there and being that way to me, I went to the car and I took off my corgi belt and I put my black belt back on. I was like, all right, fine, I'm out. They left. And maybe, I don't know, 15 minutes later, one said something on Instagram that somebody else did, and then somebody else said something else. And like, just these things kept coming in and I was like, yeah, I'm not responding. Nope. So I just left it alone for a few minutes. And one of them was like, Kenneth! You know, they're like, why aren't you responding? And it's like, because you're being children. I ultimately responded, and I guess they needed to... Here's what I wonder. There were basically some pictures, and then there was a picture from Panera, and I think it was like that equivalent of like, hey, we went to Panera without you, and then there were pictures from the frozen yogurt place, and it was just sort of like, you know, like, fine, we're fine without you. We still made it to frozen yogurt, and I'm like, okay, like, it would have been fun if we all went together, but like, I'm not jealous that someone else's mom drove you to frozen yogurt. Like, I can still go get froyo. I was kind of sarcastic with one of them because she was like, oh, how was brunch? And I said it was really nice. I spent the whole time talking about you guys and how terrible I felt. And she wrote back, really? And I was sort of like, do you really think that's what I spent lunch doing? And she wrote, is that why you came back? And I wanted to be like, no, I came back because I just went out for lunch. Like, we weren't going to spend the afternoon together, but I just kind of left that alone. And then one wrote me just a few minutes ago and was like, hey, come take us out for food. And it's like, no! Like, no, I'm not going to do that. Like, I'm going to an art opening. I have things to do tonight. Like, no, I'm not your... Yeah. So, we're all riding again tomorrow at 11. The cycle will repeat itself. It makes me laugh. And I get it. I get it from their perspective. We've been this group for a couple of weeks, and it's great. And I really do value them. Genuinely, I do. So I understand from their perspective how it's shitty. I do. But I can't turn down an opportunity to hang out with somebody who's actually a peer. Here's where it gets funny, because in the parking lot, I saw two of their moms. And I was like, are they pissed at me? And they're like, what happened? And I told them that I went out with somebody. And I was like, I broke the circle of trust, and they laughed. And the dynamics are so interesting and strange, because like these people are my barn friends, but I know their parents. You know, like it's you can be in the moment, or you can be pulled back and talking to parents about them, and sort of out of the moment, looking at it on a more meta level, and it's just interesting. What I don't want to do is make them at all feel less than, because the camaraderie has been really, really important to me and really good. But it's sort of ephemeral, because while we all like each other, we can't be friends. It's not like we can all hang out, and I think that's the line that needs to be carefully towed. Taking them out for food at 6 p.m. I don't think is appropriate. I shouldn't be hanging out with them in that context. If we go out to Panera, like after our lesson, that's one thing, but in the hours of day that are more social hours, I think that would toe the line of me being a creeper. And I don't ever I don't want to be thought of that or stigmatized as that or whatever. Thought about my wife very little today. I talked to Larry about her a bit in terms of the dog threat and how it is a threat, how it feels like blackmail, and how frustrating it is when you feel like you're better than something and it turns out you are not. The upshot of getting iced out by my barn friends was that my other barn friends were there who I haven't seen as much. So I got to hang out with them, and one of whom I hung out with a lot this summer, and I think she felt like I wasn't so much her friend anymore because I was friends with other people, and I don't ever want her to feel that way. So we got to hang out and play with the dog, and it's good. And I really am so grateful for social media for helping me feel connected to people during this really unfortunate breakup process. I really do feel less alone. I can reach out and connect with people. You know, I have a friend who's traveling right now, and you know, he was just sending me messages from where he's at, and I can respond, and they're not always the deepest, you know, like heartfelt things. It's just connections with people, and it feels good.
Started up tonight, 5th and Market, in the gas lamp.
Hey, what an excellent evening I just had. We went up to Solana Beach to an opening. I got to meet Matt Schlein, who is just super, super cool. I actually got kind of starstruck. You know, I walk into the gallery and I see him and I'm like, oh my God, that's the guy whose work I've liked for so long. He's just standing right there. The show was cool. His work looked fantastic. There was somebody else whose name I don't know. He does work with LEDs and mirrors that creates these sort of virtual interior spaces that are absolutely incredible. It plays with your head. There is so much depth in these objects. You can't help but just kind of stare agape. It was just nice to be out with a friend. By the time we were done with that, I was tired. Like, I am tired right now. I think probably because I didn't sleep super good last night. The thought of coming home and going to bed is kind of the best thought right now. In the midst of all of this, my barn friends who thought I was the worst person in the world have been messaging me on Instagram over and over and over again. Apparently we're gonna meet at the barn early tomorrow and get breakfast. Okay, we can do that. We can get breakfast. We're getting to the barn like stupid early, so whatever. As long as the dog is walked and all my things are taken care of, that'll be fine. What a diverse day. You know, different groups of friends and activities, and meet someone I've admired for a long time. I wasn't really going to say anything to him, because what are you going to say new to somebody who meets people all the time in that context? But the gallery owner, who was very social and nice, we'd been talking to her before, and then she was like, oh, I want to introduce you to Matt. He's like the most down-to-earth, nicest guy. And it's true, he was super, super nice and personable, and I was like, you know, the pieces I have of yours are very small, and he's like, yeah, but I love hearing about people living with my stuff day to day. He's like, you know, I've sold stuff to like Fidelity, and I have no idea where those pieces are, but the fact that every day you see them, like, that's really meaningful. And I thought that was a really gracious way of talking to somebody who doesn't have the money to be like a major collector. I think his stuff is really pretty and it makes me happy. Yeah, good night. I feel grateful for opportunities that present themselves, for my willingness to take those opportunities, for my friends who are willing to come along on adventures on a Saturday night just to go to some random gallery to see some guy I think is cool, and then have pizza, then have ice cream. I'm at a pretty great place right this minute. We'll see what tomorrow holds. Have a great night. If I don't see you again in a little bit, I will see you bright and early tomorrow.
I'm getting cut too.